So hey ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the sub that went to visit Titanic.
OceanGate's Titan, a submarine that takes rich tourists to go see the wreckage of the Titanic, is now missing.
We understand from the operator of the vessel that the vessel was designed with a 96-hour sustainment capability if there was an emergency on board.
Now, with any story going viral online, there's always thousands of theories that quickly stem off that range from interesting to tinfoil hat levels of insanity. Now me, being somewhat of a connoisseur of tinfoil headwear, I can appreciate wild assumptions, but the submarine situation has people speculating about the missing passengers being in the World Economic Forum, with Elon Musk being to blame for their disappearance, and even some sort of money laundering connotations due to the multi-million-dollar operation using $30 knockoff video game controllers. So let's just debunk or confirm everything going on so far, as the company OceanGate that leads the submarine down to the Titanic wreckage is having some issues with their website, likely because the story is going viral online, where they show the Titan submarine exploring the ocean floor, as their 3D renditions are somewhat different from what the submarine really looks like. As CBS actually went on this submarine last year, where the Titan sub looks incredibly cramped, as its specifications state it's 22 by 9 by 8 feet high, which those measurements have to include the stand because that 8 feet height doesn't quite match the sitting room only interior, but their website goes on to describe the Titan submarine.
And I'm a person that actually believes that anything can create an end of life of somebody. I'm very specific. Even the most simplest thing, I will tell my kids, be careful, I might slip one day because you put the toy over there, crack. The end. So when somebody says this is a big thing, a big size, but then I realize, oh, it's not that big, I need to fit in it because you did something on the outside, I already feel a little claustrophobic. And then I'm like, I'm going solo, and if something happens, there are very few options to go up other than click a button and a parachute opens at the top and you will float to the surface. If there is electricity, and if not, if you go down, a robot might try to save me down there.
More cost-efficient deep diving submersible with an unparalleled safety feature, the RTM, but also uses off-the-shelf components.
I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on!
Which apparently is this Logitech wireless video game controller that was available at Amazon for just $30 and had horrible reviews the last couple months, stating it can't hold a connection and actually giving a very nefarious warning.
This controller looks and feels great, and that's where the good points end. It drops connection consistently, causing all kinds of annoying accidents, and that's in games. I'm not trying to make a joke out of this. But if I'm so careful with my life, why the heck would you try to convince people with so much money and be like, well, I'm like you, it's safe? I'm like, nah, man.
Now, a lot of people are pointing out, why does a company that charges a reported $250,000 a passenger, which means they could make $1 million a trip, would not only be using a video game controller from the year 2000, but a knockoff of another knockoff?
I won't even trust you if you beat me in a Street Fighter game because I'm going to blame the controller.
Are you making money on this operation?
No. So, not yet. People might say, hey, that's a lot of money, $250,000. But we went through over $1 million of gas.
And OceanGate, despite the huge $20 savings using this off-brand Logitech controller, is still running into money issues. I genuinely don't understand how you can become a multi-millionaire, then not have reservations about getting on a submarine that looks like it was assembled with components from a Chinatown gift shop. But apparently people don't care, as a CBS reporter basically had to sign his life away to get on the submarine.
An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. Where do I sign?
If I read that and there was only one reason, I would be really.
And this brings us to the present. Today reports how rescuers don't have much time to rescue the submarine, as the 5 people on the sub still have not been located, and report they only had a 96-hour oxygen supply where they left at 6 a.m. on Sunday, but lost contact just 1 hour and 45 minutes after it submerged, stating it should have had been equipped with a drop weight, where if they lost power, they could release it and the submarine would just rise to the surface. But there could be a leak in the hull, where if it fell to the seabed, it could still be intact, but beyond the continental shelf, and not many vessels will be able to go that deep. Then USA Today goes into who specifically was on that sub. So now places like TMZ are essentially slamming their family, writing that one passenger's stepson is at a concert, and others reposting online that one of the passengers is allegedly a part of the World Economic Forum. But that didn't stop places like PopCrave for appearing to blame Elon Musk for its disappearance, where social media users immediately take the bait, suggesting that he should be charged with manslaughter, and even saying this makes Elon Musk like Donald Trump. Never mind the fact that Starlink is just what the ship that transported the submarine uses.
And sadly, it wasn't the case, because not everybody agrees that it would have lasted that long. Because you have this clip over here that kind of confused me.
The transponder that's used to track a sub during descent and on the bottom is a fully autonomous system. It's in its own pressure housing, and it has its own battery power. So for them to lose comms and tracking at the same time, sub was gone. There was no question in my mind. For days, I tried to run other scenarios that could account for it. I could come up with nothing. So the next thing I did was contacted a few more people and managed to track down, there are acoustic networks around. Some are research, some are intelligence. We got confirmation within an hour that there had been a loud bang at the same time that that comms were lost. A loud bang on the hydrophones, loss of transducer or transponder, loss of comms. I knew what happened. Sub imploded. I sent emails to everybody I know. I said, we've lost some friends. The sub has imploded. It's on the bottom in pieces right now. I sent that out Monday morning.
I mean, if that is the truth, I'm like, okay, so it popped way before. And that makes me think, why did the news just extend it? People say, well, it might have went down and they were banging. Yeah, maybe. But won't they be banging way before that? And how did everybody last the amount of hours that it had? Aren't they getting nervous? Maybe somebody has asthma? So all these things, all this moving, you're wasting way more air. So were they just chilling and hitting a few times hoping for that? Maybe. Or maybe the ports reached the bottom and then with a wave a little down there, because it's so flat on the bottom where Titanic is, maybe the metal hits each other. Clink, 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 clink.
When I started the business, one of the things you'll find, there are other sub-operators out there, but they typically have gentlemen who are ex-military submariners, and you'll see a whole bunch of 50-year-old white guys. I wanted our team to be younger, to be inspirational, and I'm not going to inspire a 16-year-old to go pursue marine technology.
What do you expect me to think if you want more diversity instead of experience in a situation that one small mistake leads to that?
Which is now making people look at the firing of an engineer in 2018, who apparently was an old white guy. So TechCrunch reports that he was fired after writing a quality control report, stating the Titan's forward viewport would only certify them going down 1,300 meters. But apparently they refused to pay for a viewport that could make it to 4,000 meters so they could safely explore the Titanic. So he refused to authorize any manned tests of the Titan. So he was fired and escorted from the building. But in 2020, apparently the Titan's hull showed signs of cyclic fatigue. And the issues didn't stop there, as in 2022, a Mexican actor stated he went on the trip, where the battery suddenly drained 1 hour into a 4-hour trip, and their voyage also experienced communication issues.
I get what he's trying to do. It's a good thing, diversity gives certain people an opportunity, but I'm also thinking about maybe give certain people the opportunity that have the diploma with experience. I care about that. Or what about safety? But when you care so much that I'm not supposed to care about safety, I do think that's an issue.
Just like these airplane passengers in Boston.
Oh, it did.
If that happened to me, I don't care. I'm leaving. I will pick up my stuff, tell them what happened, and I'm not staying on that plane. I would prefer to pay more money. Because I know if somebody is going to operate on me, I don't care about why you're there. As long as you have the diploma and your skill, and my safety is in jeopardy in the hands of somebody that knows what they're doing. because they know how to get me when they need to save me.
Now, the official Coast Guard Twitter account has posted stating they detected underwater noises in the search area, but unfortunately could not find the origin of the sound. Now, these are allegedly the sounds heard. But honestly, I don't believe that. They stated they detected these sounds from a P-3 aircraft, but this audio sounds like they have their ear pressed up against a ship. I just don't buy it, but sadly, I don't trust any of the fact checkers on any of this. Just look at these two articles on Snopes. I found both pages by the same writer on their website at the same time. One asks, was a sub using satellites from Elon Musk versus was a sub relying on satellites from Elon Musk? The first article is confirmed true by Snopes, but the second article is unproven by Snopes. So somehow Snopes managed to have two articles written about the same story and both are misleading.
In my community, I asked, should anybody be held accountable for the submarine Titanic incident? It seems more people have said yes. It doesn't affect my life officially. But I know that this way of thinking to be diverse, equity, and inclusion, I love the fact to be empathetic. I can understand that. But it's being pushed in such a way that you don't really care about the result. You just want to start beautiful. You want everybody to know that you did your best. But there are certain consequences behind it. And I don't want to agree with something that has specific consequence. And when I call it out, I'm part of the problem. But anyway, the point has been made. Let me know what you guys think about the whole situation. And that's it. Have a nice day. Peace. Decoy Voice, I love your videos.